Hi, I'm Doug, and today we're gonna do things. We're gonna fix up this boat. We're gonna plow some snow. We're gonna build a garage. We're gonna do some fishing on a pontoon boat. That is awesome. We're gonna do all those things and more, and we're gonna have a blast doing it. Come along, come with me. Let's go for a ride. Let's go build something. Let's fix something. Let's go fishing. Let's go have some fun. Thanks for joining me. Hey, I'm Doug. Thanks for coming along in the journey with me to texture my living room ceiling. I know you can do it too. You just gotta be brave, and if you're not sure how to do it, look up these videos. Most of us will take you through it step by step. It's not a bad process. It's pretty easy. You can do it. Most of all, enjoy the process. Yeah, we got one life to live. Enjoy every day. Thanks for joining me, and here's the video, and we'll see you next time. Okay, so that's a 12-inch scraper mud knife. You call it whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna lean it up against the wall here to get a better view. This is what I scrape the texture off my ceilings with. The pole is the extension rod for the attic ladder in my garage. It's just approximately a 6-foot long pole. It's got a hook at the top for grabbing onto my attic ladder. But that doesn't matter. You just need a pole of some sort, a dowel, rod, something to be able to reach your ceilings okay with the scraper. So this is what I used. I'm gonna try to get you a better view of it. Okay, starting at the floor. 6 feet long. Might look longer than that in the video, but that's the scraper right there. Unfortunately, I didn't have a camera at the time. My other GoPro has had some problems, and the day I scraped the ceilings, the videos didn't save correctly, so I don't have the scraping videos. I think I have one short clip from a cell phone, and that's all I got. I'll throw that in, so I apologize I wasn't able to get the scraping videos. This is the next room that we're gonna do. That's what the texture looks like. It's not popcorn, it's just a very heavy texture. There is no styrofoam in it, so I will refrain from calling it popcorn. But that is what the texture looks like, and we're gonna take that off and just put an orange peel back on. Well, today we're gonna try out the Power Tex all-in-one powered texture sprayer by Wagner. This is model number, I believe it's 520000, and it is. There you go. $109 at Lowe's. And I will show you. Okay, so here's what we're doing. The ceiling in the living room. And I apologize, this is on my iPhone. My GoPro battery's on the charger, and sorry. So, okay, here's what it looked like before. People would call that popcorn. It does not have the styrofoam in it. It's just a heavy texture. Okay, so this is what we're getting rid of. And then we're going to an orange peel texture, which is kind of what's on our walls. I guess most people would call that an orange peel. It's not really knocked down because it hasn't been scraped. So that would be orange peel, and that's the look that we're going for on the ceiling. I have, maybe you saw this already. So I rented this. It's made by Graco. This is a $3,000 texture gun. I saw them at Lowe's. And here's the deal. It's beautiful. I mean, it's really nice. Everything's adjustable, material flow. And if I have to use it, I will. If I have to, I will use it. However, I don't want to have to clean it. And I think all that hose probably holds about a gallon, maybe not a gallon of texture, but it seems like it. It seems like it'd probably hold a gallon of texture. So I don't want to waste all that material. I didn't buy that much. I have about 5 gallons, and I'm hoping that that'll do several rooms in my house, that much texture, but we'll see. It's been a long time since I sprayed any. If I have to use this, I will. I don't want to have to clean it, and I don't want to have to waste all that material. I tried a different texture gun yesterday. It was actually my Cobalt texture sprayer, and I rented a compressor for it, and it didn't work. It was maxed out at 40 PSI, the compressor was, and it just didn't have any volume. It just wouldn't move any. It was spitting. Here, I'll show you what happened. Now I had to wash the walls back down, but it spitted all over the paper, and it had gotten a tiny bit on the ceiling, and most of the rest of it went on the floor and the walls, which I had to clean up. So, and yeah, I'll cover up the TV before I spray this. So anyhow, we're getting ready to spray it. I won't be able to show you the process at this point, but it's going to be really messy, and it's going to be all over the floor, so I'll be back. All right, so the hopper is on. I'm going to show you this real quick. Okay, it goes on. You can turn it 180 degrees if you want to do walls. Or if you turn it with the larger part of the hopper towards the back, I guess it works better for ceilings. Makes sense. I am doing orange peel, so it says to use the black nozzle. Here is the white and the yellow. Comes with a little bit of grease. Yeah, there's an O-ring on the hopper. Okay. There's an O-ring on the hopper. You're going to grease that O-ring slightly, and then you're going to slide that all the way down in there, and then you're going to rotate the hopper and lock it into position, which it does very easily. Same with the gun. It's got a lock. It just twists into place on the trigger assembly. There's the cord to plug it in. Let's talk about O-rings for a minute here. It's labeled garage. You know why? Because I accidentally used my wife's good thing of Vaseline out of her bathroom. And when I was overhauling the engine in my Razor, I needed to lubricate the O-rings on the engine in a few places. And I grabbed her good thing of Vaseline out of the bathroom, and when I got done, I went to put it away, and I smelled it, and it smelled like engine oil. So that one became mine for the garage, and my wife bought herself a brand new one. So anytime you assemble something that has O-rings, I recommend putting a lubricant on those O-rings. In this case, it comes with a lubricant, and looky there. Didn't even realize that. It says petroleum jelly. So it comes with its own supply of Vaseline. Vaseline is a great lubricant for O-rings. You should never put them on dry. Okay. The gun is together. It's time to mix up our mud. We're going to spray an orange peel, and the mud should be the consistency of, we'll call it pancake batter or thick paint, I guess they say, but we'll call it pancake batter. And I might actually go even a little on the thin side. So we're gonna mix some mud. Okay, I'm doing all this at home in my kitchen. Toaster, microwave, there's the proof. Okay, so we're gonna mix up some orange peel texture. This is +3 joint compound. You know, everybody has their own preference. Says 25% less weight, easy to apply and sand, less shrinkage. Minimizes coats over corner bead. So this is 4.5 gallons, and I got a bucket. You're gonna need that. And that gun holds a gallon, okay, in the hopper. So what we're gonna try to do here is, it's okay to mix up too much because you can pour it right back in the box. Okay, I just opened the bag. This is what it looks like inside. I'll stick my iPhone in here for you guys. So it's thick, it's really thick. It's like mud. That's why we call it mud. So I'm gonna scoop out about a gallon of mud out of that box, and I'm gonna put it in this bucket. And then I'm gonna start adding water to it, and I'm gonna stir it. I have a drill and I have a paint mixing paddle that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna thin it down until it's about like pancake batter. I want it to I want it to run off of the paddle. So when I pick the drill up out of there, I want to see it run off back into the bucket, and then for me, that's going to be when I know that it's ready to spray. Okay, so there's the mud. I used a big spoon like that to shovel it out of the box. And when you're done, you should try to press the air out of that. And then find something to tie the bag shut with just to keep it moist. And if it starts to dry out, just put some water in there. It'll absorb it, and it'll keep it nice and soft. I probably only have half a gallon or 2/3 of a gallon of mud in there. That's okay. I'll start out with that. I'm gonna get my my DeWalt with my paint mixer, and I'm gonna go ahead and thin this down, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. What was I gonna say? Oh, do not under any circumstances buy a joint compound that is, they call it hot or setting. You'll see it in the powder form. It comes in bags, like 20 pound bags. And you'll see it on the shelf, and it'll say fast setting. It'll say, I think it's 20. Yeah, what I saw was a 20, a 45, and a 90. And the 20 has a 20-minute setting time. 45 is obviously 45 minutes, and then 90 minutes setting time. You do not want to buy that under any circumstances if you are going to spray it out of a texture gun, because you will not get done, and you will not get your gun cleaned up in time before it sets. And if it sets in your gun, you might just as well take most of that gun and go throw it in the trash. Or probably cheaper just to take all of the gun and throw it in the trash and just buy a new one. So you don't want a setting joint compound. This stuff here just dries. It's gonna take a couple of hours for a thin coat of texture to dry, and that's what you want. Okay, so we're just gonna add some water to this, and then I'm gonna go get the mixer, and we're gonna mix it up. So I'm gonna call that kind of a thick pancake batter. And the look I'm going for is actually a little thinner than that. More water in there. looks like. It's not bad. Not quite there yet. We're getting closer. I will say that I do think this stuff tends to thicken up a little bit when it sits. Maybe some of the heavier, I mean, it's a gypsum compound, right? So I think as it settles a little bit and the air comes out of it, then it thickens up. So don't be afraid to thin it down pretty well. I think we're getting there. I think when you say, oh crap, I think I got it a little too thin. And I think that's probably when it's about right. So, thin a little bit more here. By the way, the DeWalt brushless 22 volt drills. It's got the 5 amp battery in it. Amazing. You know, I have nearly every DeWalt 18 volt power tool known to man, and I really didn't want to see them come out with these 20 volts that take a different battery, because then you got to try to adapt your old batteries or whatever. It doesn't work. I mean, if you like these, you might just as well go out and buy them, and they're great. I mean, these batteries are lasting a tremendously long time, and the power they have is awe-inspiring, I will say. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm actually going to add just a little more water to this. I'm just getting some areas in the bottom that are kind of thick. All right. Now does it look too thin? It might look that way, but you know what? It feels pretty good when I stir it. Sorry about that. You can kind of stir it around a little bit by hand. Feel down there in the bottom of the bucket and make sure that you got it all stirred up. Looks pretty thin, doesn't it? We're gonna try it. Make sure you keep that in the bucket when you do that, or you're gonna have a huge mess. Over rather than pull the trigger. Pull that off. All right, I'm gonna dump this mud in the gun and we're gonna go try it. Okay, before I go spray, you can see I got the mud in the gun. I did it in the kitchen sink. This gun is made to sit on a flat surface and stand upright. It's actually a tripod design. I love that. It's got feet on either side that hold it. I would recommend that you not put any more mud in the hopper than about half full, because you got to remember you're going to angle this at about a 45-degree angle toward the ceiling. It's not really made to point straight at the ceiling. The mud is going to run out of the hopper if you try to do that. But it's fine to hold it at like a 45-degree angle toward the ceiling, and that'll work. So don't make the mistake of filling the hopper all the way up to the top. You'll be sorry, and you'll be dumping it back out before you actually get any work done. So okay, so the Wagner Tex, we're gonna go work it a little bit. Okay, real quick before I go to spraying, I'm not real big on safety equipment, but I protect my eyes and my hearing pretty religiously. Here's some goggles. These are made by Mad Dog Gear. These come from Walmart. They were a really good price, and I actually had LASIK surgery, vision surgery. Well, it's been a year ago. It was last year, and right after surgery, you have to be careful not to touch your eyes at all while they're healing. And so at night when I would sleep, seemed pretty embarrassing, but I would wear these goggles at night, and that kept me from rubbing my eyes in the night or poking myself in the eye in the middle of the night. So anyhow, they work great. I use them for everything. Eye protection, ear protection. You can't replace your eyes. You can't replace your ears. So protect them. Enough said about that. Just a quick update here. There's still a few spots that are drying. But that's the texture. It's gonna take a little while to dry. Got some fans going. Of course, all the wet spots show up still as darker. So, yeah, I'll give you a little update when it's all done. A lot of painting to do. Paint the ceiling, paint the walls, replace the carpet. It's going. I covered it just because we still have to live with it for a week or two, but now the rest of the cleanup begins, and we start the real cleanup. Hey, good morning. It's Doug here. I'm gonna show you, this is the last day of the ceiling texture in the living room. Okay, anyhow, so I made a mistake. Hey, look, I'm the first one to admit when I make a mistake. It happens all the time. So when I painted the ceiling, I, for some reason, was thinking about like the paint that you put on the walls and how, yeah, you can put the same paint on the ceiling as you can put on the walls. And I wanted the ceilings to be washable, so I went with that satin paint. So yes, it had, it had some sheen to it, kind of shiny paint. Beautiful, beautiful, looked great on the ceiling. Just one problem. You could see every roller mark on the whole ceiling. I mean, every time you made a swipe with the roller, it showed up on the ceiling. So it didn't matter. I went crisscross. I went over each section just once. I tried that. I tried going over it multiple times. I tried doing just the W pattern like you normally would do with a roller. And it's just the gloss. And yeah, I think that's probably been one of my gripes with ceiling paint, is that it's not necessarily washable. It's kind of chalky, white, flat paint. And I'm sorry, we have a 6-year-old, and things get dirty. Things spray out of pop bottles or water bottles or toys or whatever. And I mean, if something were to get on the ceiling, I would hope that I could wash it off and not have to repaint the ceiling. So anyhow, I think that was some of my rationale behind going with that satin sheen paint for the ceiling, is that it would be something washable. So yeah, roller marks everywhere. Okay, scratch that idea. So then I went and bought, because Ace Hardware, I have to give them a plug. They're just right down the street. We won't talk about their prices, because I think they're higher than a stack of black cats. Just my opinion. Anyhow, so I went there. I bought Clark and Kensington paint. It's an acrylic latex paint. It's a flat, called Ceiling White. It's just a flat paint. And So after putting 2 coats of the satin paint on yesterday and having fans run all day, late last night it was dry, and I opened up the new can of the ceiling white and started painting it again. And the only problem I had there is it was just, I mean, it was dark in here last night. I couldn't see anything. And so this morning I have just a few places. I'm gonna try to show you those. And I'm gonna back up and see if that shows up in the light. Oh yeah, I can see it. So that's what happens when you miss a spot. And I pretty much have a row there that I'm gonna have to hit 5-6 feet wide, and it goes all the way across the room. Get some natural light here. Show you that. So today I'll touch up a few little spots. We'll let that dry, and then it's time to put the ceiling fan back up. And there's an entryway globe that hangs from a chain over here. And then we start painting the walls maybe today or tomorrow. So, okay, I'm back. So here's my 2 cents. If you're new to a project, haven't done it in a long time, make yourself a checklist. Things to cover, you know, this project here. Okay, what, you know, you should ask yourself at the beginning, how do I scrape the texture off? You know, number 1. Number 2, how should I finish the surface when I'm done? What's the best way to do that? You could get on YouTube and research that. You get done. Number 3, do I texture first or do I primer first? You know, there's varying opinions out there. I kind of like the idea of primer first. Put paint on your ceiling once your ceiling is smooth and flat and perfect, because, and I say that for a reason. If you spray the texture on and you absolutely hate it, you can go get a wet towel or washcloth, or start with a scraper, you know, scrape it off, and then take a wet washcloth and wipe it down, and you're basically back to your original surface, which is the primed surface. And you haven't put so much water or moisture on the ceiling that your drywall mud is softening or drywall tape is starting to soften and come off. If that happens, you have a bigger mess then that you're gonna have to fix. And if you're not good at drywall taping and mudding, then you may actually have to call in a professional and have them come fix it. So my recommendation is, after you scrape it, sand it, go ahead and paint it. Get it primered, get something, you know, on there that's gonna repel a little bit of moisture so that you can spray texture on there and get a nice finish. Once you paint the texture, it's on there. Then it's a lot more difficult to get it off. Then you are back to wetting it over and over and over and trying to scrape wet paint and mud off, which is another huge mess. So you'd be basically starting over from scratch. Okay, I am going to quit shaking the camera and grab my roller, get it wetted, and I'm gonna fix a few spots here.